everybody. It's your boy Kris Avalon, and welcome to another episode of On the Line, where I just want to jump on the line and basically simple concept: jump on the line, we talk about stuff. But this episode, with celebrity news and pop culture. But this episode, I basically wanted to come and come up with a concept of best movies or 21 of the most anticipated movies of 2021. Now, a lot of these movies that are going to be on my list were supposed to come out last year, but of course, due to COVID and theaters being shut down, a lot of them were postponed, delayed, or have been pushed even further than where they were supposed to be because, they're supposed to be coming out early of this year. But of course, movie theaters aren't open yet. So films have been pushed yet again. So we're not going to necessarily go by release dates or whatever. These are just movies that I'm excited to see. And you guys can also, because this is a live episode, you can jump in the comments and leave your thoughts on what movies you guys are excited about. Say also, jump over on my YouTube channel and click like, subscribe. You can leave your comments down there as well. I like to see you guys. I mean, you could do a top 10, a top 5, a top 21 like I did. And let us know, or let me know. I said us, like it's a bunch of people. It's just me. The other episodes, there'll be more than me. But for this one, it's just me. You can let me know what your favorite movies of 2021 or the movies you're looking forward to seeing this year, because I am curious and I like to know. Because one of the things, I went to film school. I love movies. I love the art of filmmaking, and this is kind of one of the things I wanted to get into. So before we get into my top 21 picks, I do have some honorable mentions because there's a lot of films coming out this year, so to narrow it down to 21 is fairly difficult. So the first honorable mention that I want to get to is none other than Resident Evil. So yes, Resident Evil is getting a reboot. We know after the last one, I forget what it was called. I think it was called The Final Chapter with Milla Jovovich. That movie was god awful. Sorry, but it was just like the choppy editing. You could barely see the action. The fight sequences were trash. I feel like the best action I've seen in a Resident Evil movie happened to be in Resident Evil Apocalypse and Resident Evil Retribution. I love the action sequences in that, and seeing a lot of the hand-to-hand fight sequences, and the choreography was pretty cool. Hey, what's going on, Sailor Mermaid? So yeah, Resident Evil is definitely a movie that I feel like deserves a reboot, and thank you Jesus, we're finally getting it. So there's not really much that we know about this film. It's supposed to come out in September of this year, but it's going to be directed by Johan Roberts, who directed 47 Meters Down and The Strangers Pray at Night. Strangers Pray at Night, I did not particularly like that movie. There were certain sequences in that film that I thought was really cool, but other than that, I thought it was a horrible sequel to an amazing film. I still love the original. The first movie really, it still scares the crap out of me. 47 Meters Down, I actually liked. Well, anything to do with sharks, because sharks freak me out. Definitely, I'm all for it. But from what I hear, according to Wikipedia, it says that it's an upcoming German-American survival horror film directed by, as I said, Johan Roberts, and written by Roberts and Greg Russo, serving as a reboot of the Resident Evil film series, which is based on the video game series of the same name. The film stars Kaya Scodelario, Robbie Amell, cousin of Arrow's Stephen Amell, Evan Joga, or Joja, Hannah John Kamen, Tom Hopper, who is on oh my god, what's the show that's on Netflix? The Umbrella Academy. He's on that. Neil McDonough and Donald Logue. So according to Roberts, it will be an origin story set in 1998 and is based on elements from the first and second game. So what I'm basically hoping with this film is that we actually get some pretty cool horror stuff. I really hope that it focuses on the survival horror of it all. I think a lot of people don't consider Resident Evil to be horror because of what Paul W.S. Anderson did to that franchise and pretty much turned it into an action thing. It was more or less action, less horror. So I'm hoping that we can kind of merge the two. This is pretty much the cast of who's going to be included in the new Resident Evil movie. There is no footage. There is no video. There's no trailer. There's nothing of the sort yet, but this is basically all we have right now. This is some of the cast, and yeah, so that's one of the movies I'm looking forward to. Now, the second film that I'm looking forward to that is not, well, basically I'm calling it honorable mention. There's a couple of honorable mentions, so bear with me. I do have a number with the countdowns. A sequel to Don't Breathe, which is called Don't Breathe 2. Duh. What else they gonna call it? So, Fede Alvarez did not direct this film, but he co-wrote the sequel and handled the directorial origins over to Rodo Sayagüez. I think that's how you say his name. Now, Stephen Lang is returning to play the blind man who appears to be the protagonist this time around. So they're pretty much changing it up because remember in the first movie he was the villain. Now he is the protagonist. And in this one, the blind man has been hiding out for years in an isolated cabin and has been taken in and raised a young girl orphaned from a house fire. He'll have to leave his haven to save her once she's kidnapped. Now, what I'm wondering is the girl from the original film, forgot her name because it's been a while since I've seen Don't Breathe, but the girl that survived the original film, is she going to come back for the sequel? So that I'm pretty much curious about. I'm curious to see which direction they're going to take this film, and it is something that I'm excited about. Yeah, that's the still of Stephen Lang and Don't Breathe 2. So yeah, I'm excited for this film, and I hope it doesn't suck. Okay, so another honorable mention that I have is Army of the Dead, which, yes, as it sounds, it's a zombie movie. So this one is going to be directed by Zack Snyder, and this was shot long before he was talking about bringing Justice League to HBO Max. He is returning to his undead roots to helm this zombie thriller about a group of mercenaries who head into the heart of Las Vegas, after a zombie outbreak in order to pull off a daring casino heist. I don't know why we need money in a zombie apocalypse, but apparently we do. The one thing I like about this film is that it's being led by Dave Bautista, and I'm a huge Dave Bautista fan. I've always been someone who has defended his acting because I know everybody loves Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and yes, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of the biggest movie stars in the world, but I don't feel like he has. I think one of the things that's missing from him that I feel like Dave Bautista trumps over him is that depending on who he winds up in a movie with, they pull out some really good acting from him. Denis Villeneuve has really done a great job of picking, getting to the root of pulling some things out of Dave Bautista and showing that he is an impressive actor depending on who is directing him and who he's surrounded by. So I loved him in Blade Runner 2049. I loved him as Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and I definitely am looking forward to seeing what he does in the new Dune movie, which of course is on my list, but we're not going to jump the gun. That's down the road. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he brings to that role when the film comes out. And, I just love an entertaining zombie film, and, anything with zombies is cool with me. The plot sounds crazy. People needing money in a zombie apocalypse, whatever. But if it's going to show people getting eaten and we killing zombies and all kinds of craziness, I'm here for it. And it's supposed to be coming on Netflix sometime this year. Don't know the exact date, but it's coming on Netflix sometime this year. So another honorable mention I want to bring up is Escape Room. Now there's Escape Room 2. Now I loved the first Escape Room. It was PG-13, which I was like, I really don't particularly care for PG-13 rated horror movies because I always feel like that you're kind of watering it down because you want to reach a bigger audience. And to me, when I get my horror, I like to see a lot of the blood. I want to see the gore. I want to see all the craziness. Kind of like, it's like making Saw PG-13, in my opinion. You can't do that because you want to see all the crazy, gory sequences with, the puzzles and all the other stuff and the different contraptions they put you with. But Escape Room, is all about puzzles, and it kind of falls into that category of films in regards of, trapped horror situation, playing a game and the game kills you and that sort of thing if you fail. So we saw what it was. There's not a lot of plot that's going on with this movie, but what we do know is that it's a direct, it's going to pick up basically where the original film left off. So the surviving members of the original film will be returning. And then Isabel Furman, who played the orphan in Orphan, who is returning for the sequel to Orphan, by the way. There is one in the works. She's going to be showing up in this film, as well as India Moore from Pose. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing this and seeing how they incorporate these characters into this film. So it's going to expand on the lore of the whole escape room and the people that are behind it. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that film when it comes out. Now, the next honorable mention that I have is called The Forever Purge. Yeah, there's a lot of horror movies on my honorable mentions list. Now, this is supposed to be, I'll say, the fifth and final installment of the action horror series. Now, it's said to be set after the events of the Purge election year, which was the third film in the series. This story follows a Mexican couple who find themselves stranded in Texas after escaping a drug cartel. Now, of course, they run into some folks who are trying to get their purge on. Ultraviolence ensues, and it's been written by series writer James DeMonico, and probably mirrors some of the true insanity we've experienced in our own country. So now, after surviving this bullshit with this current president, this will probably be a cake and a walk in the park. I'm just really hoping that this franchise gives me something I need, because I like the concept of the Purge, but I feel like these movies have not truly executed this concept to its fullest potential. So I'm hoping this movie will finally give me what I need. Like, I get the socio-political stuff that goes in with this franchise, but like I said, I just don't feel like the Purge has yet given me everything that I need on a satisfactory level in regards of talking about the social, political, economic situations that we've been dealing with in this country and why the Purge was needed and all that stuff. I like the idea, I like the concept, but like I said, the execution is not working for me. But let's just hope this one does. So another movie that I feel like you guys should definitely check out the trailer if you haven't seen it. I posted it over on Tribe. It's an upcoming film called Willy's Wonderland, which stars none other than Nicolas Cage. Now, the film is about Cage, who plays the janitor, where he finds himself stranded in a remote town. Now, unable to pay the repair shop to fix his Jeep, he agrees to work off his debt by spending the night cleaning Willy's Wonderland, an abandoned theme park full of animatronic characters that were once a beacon of fun for children to play with. But Willy's Wonderland carries a dark secret that the janitor is about to discover. Now, what he finds out is that he's been lured into a deadly trap, or rather a living nightmare, as the Wonderland's animatronic characters come to life to destroy him. The janitor is forced to fight his way from one monster to another, trying to survive until morning, and the janitor doesn't play nice. Now, also starring in this film is going to be Emily Tostoff, who I think is from that Party of Five reboot that lasted one season. She plays the rebellious teenage lead in the film. The film is directed by Kevin Lewis. I said Kevin James. Kevin James is from King of Queens. Kevin Lewis, which also stars Beth Grant from No Country for Old Men, Rick Wrights from The Resident, and Chris Warner, who starred in Machete. This concept sounds ridiculous, and on paper, it sounds stupid. But when you see the trailer, you'll definitely get a kick out of it. And one of the things I've noticed about Nicolas Cage is that I feel like from the cult films that he started, from like Mom and Dad to Color Out of Space, I don't know if you've seen those movies, but definitely check it out. I feel like he has solidified himself in a way, or revived his own career in a way, as sort of a horror movie icon of sorts. Now, if we can get Nicolas Cage in a franchise similar to Bruce Campbell with the Evil Dead franchise, if we could get him in something like that, where he could play this badass, kick-ass action hero in a horror setting, battling monsters or demons, whatever the case it is, I think that would be a great concept. And hopefully somebody will get that, because I don't know what it is about Nicolas Cage, but he just picks so many weird freaking movies, and I just, for some godforsaken reason, I just love it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, the next honorable mention I have is a film starring Jennifer Hudson playing yet another damn singer. I don't know how many times they're going to hire her to play a singer, but she was picked by Aretha Franklin. So we're going to go with it. And that film is none other than Respect. Now, the legendary Aretha Franklin, as I stated, hand-selected J. Hud to play her in the upcoming biopic after seeing her in 2006's Dreamgirls. And in an interview, she said this in 2019. She says, those are huge shoes to fill. No one ever could, but just to be chosen by her to portray her is mind-blowing. This is what she said in an interview with on the Jonathan Ross show. She says, we talked about it right after I won my Oscar for Dreamgirls, so we have been talking about it for almost 12 years, and now it's actually manifesting. Now, the people who are it's basically going to focus on her iconic life, and it was directed by Liesl Tommy. It's a weird name, but okay, that's their name. It also stars Forest Whitaker, Marlon Wayans, Mary J. Blige, and more. Also, Audra McDonald's in it, and Titus Burgess. So it'll be interesting to see like what this film entails. I need to I think there is a trailer out for it. I don't remember. I've seen so many damn trailers. I can't remember who from what from where. Another honorable mention, I will say, is another musical of sorts, In the Heights, which stars Anthony Ramos, Corey Hawkins, Leslie Grace, Melissa Barrera, and Daphne Rubin Vega, Jimmy Smits, and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Now, the film is based on the hit 2007 Broadway musical by the same name, based on the book. The story takes place in New York City's Washington Heights. It follows the life of people in the predominantly Latin community facing the challenges of being an immigrant and pressure not to disappoint their families as they pursue their hopes and dreams. So I never got the opportunity, like Hamilton, to see the play when it was around because it was hard to get a damn ticket. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie. Now, before I have to say this, I did not like Hamilton, the one that they showed on what is that, Disney Plus? Yeah, when it was on Disney Plus, I just don't like the whole recording a play with cameras and I'm sitting at my place watching it. I don't like the concept. I'd rather go see it in a theater and get the full experience. I don't like when people film stuff and I got to sit and watch it. I'm not trying to do no Fathom Events type of Broadway watching. Like, that's not me. I'd rather just be feeling the whole live vibe. And I think I would have liked it if I would have seen it in a live setting. But In the Heights being turned into a cinematic film, this is something I'm definitely looking forward to. And we need to see more Latin representation on the big screen as well as the small screen. So moving right along, I have another honorable mention, and that is Snake Eyes, starring Henry Golding, Samara Weaving, and Iko Uwais, who's like one of my favorite MMA action movie stars. If you haven't seen The Raid or The Raid 2 and Wu Assassins and all those other things, definitely check that out. Great action if you're into that sort of thing. So basically, this is a return to the G.I. Joe series. Now, apparently, the two movies didn't really do well at the box office, although I will say I did like the second G.I. Joe where they brought in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This was around the time when he was pretty much saving franchises. That one and the Fast and the Furious franchise, let's call it what it is. He saved that franchise at some point because wasn't nobody checking for Vin Diesel egomaniacal ass around when he was trying to revive his career because nobody wouldn't hire him for nothing. So basically with this film, so it's basically going to be an origin story about Snake Eyes. So Henry Golding, who you know starred in Crazy Rich Asians, stars as the titular character in a film that will also feature Storm Shadow and others in the mix. Now, word is that a follow-up is already planned with Golding to star, making this film very important to the future of the franchise. Now, I do feel like, okay, can we at least see the film first before y'all start talking about making another one? Because when y'all jump the gun and we haven't seen the film yet, and what if the film sucks? And if the viewership isn't there and the box office success isn't there, who's going to watch it? So I do agree with that. It says, shout out to my friend Esteban. It says, I actually think Nick Cage is a good actor when he wants to be, but he's chosen to play these over-the-top characters as part of his shtick. Well, yeah, it works depending on what it is, but yeah, I agree. But for some reason, it fits for what he's doing. Okay, so now another honorable mention. I know that, like I said, it was a lot, but we're almost done with that, so I can get to my countdown. My next honorable mention is none other than Eternals. So now the third MCU film set to be released in 2020 is Chloe Zhao's Eternals, aka the film that Kumail Nanjiani got super buff for. You shout out to him because he definitely hit the gym and had this huge diet to make him look all of a sudden like people look at him like, oh yes, I want to sleep with that. I read the headlines. But yeah, if you're going to be a superhero, like you have to kind of get super buff for it. So the movie is going to star Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, Brian Tyree Henry, who I believe is playing a gay superhero in the film, married to Haas Sleeman. We also have two members of Game of Thrones, Kit Harington and Richard Madden. You know, they played brothers. And you know, Richard Madden, shout out to him in that Red Wedding. I'm not going to say nothing else. If you didn't see, you don't know Game of Thrones and a Red Wedding, I'm not going to spoil it. For those of you who are probably catching, because I actually read on the line, one of my friends is currently watching Game of Thrones. I'm like, okay, you're a little late, but you know, some people don't like to follow the trends, and it's fine. So, The Eternals are forced to protect humanity from the Deviants following the events of Avengers Endgame. As with most Marvel projects, they really don't give us a lot of information. We just basically get a little bit of crumbs here and there. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I need them to hurry up and roll out a trailer. I know this is supposed to get phase 4, the ball for that rolling, but we don't have anything because, Miss Corona keeping us from doing what we got to do in regards to getting these movies out there. So now, without further ado, that was the end of my honorable mentions. Let's get to the top 21 most anticipated, my picks, 21 picks for the most anticipated movies of 2021. So at number 21 comes West Side Story. I had to choose between In the Heights of West Side Story, and West Side Story is like a film that I've always loved since I was a kid. Like, I just love the original movie. I've always loved Rita Moreno, who is in this film, by the way. Steven Spielberg is set to retell the story of two star-crossed lovers who fall in love in 1950s New York City, while they each have affiliations with rival street gangs, the Jets and the Sharks. Now, his adaptation will be closer to the Broadway play than the movie, and Ansel Elgort will star as Tony, and newcomer Rachel Zegler will play Maria. Ariana DeBose, David Alvarez, Mike Faist, and Brian Darcy James will also be part of the cast, alongside Rita Moreno, who won Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her role as Anna in the original 1961 film. The EGOT winner will appear in the 2021 film in a supporting role as Valentina. The movie was set to hit theaters in December of 2021, but now at this point, I have no idea when it's going to come out. So like I said, just take it with a grain of salt. We don't necessarily know when these movies are coming out, so let's just go with it as is. Now, number 20 is Morbius. So now Sony's Spider-Verse is getting a vampire. Morbius is going to tell the tale of Michael Morbius, a scientist who, in attempting to cure himself of a rare blood disease, turns himself into what Marvel Comics deemed the living vampire. Now, that vampire is said to be played by none other than an actual real-life vampire, Jared Leto, because I don't know how that man is about to be 50 years old and still looks like he's 25. Someone let me know what his damn beauty regimen is. Put me on, because that man looks literally like a rock and roll Jesus. I mean, just saying. But so now what they're saying is that the film aims to delve into the mind of a man who A, is now a whole vampire, while B, being a hero who also has a thirst for blood. There isn't a lot known about the real plot of the movie, but the trailer featured a glimpse of Michael Keaton, who starred in Sony's Spider-Man Homecoming. He has to be reprising his role as Vulture. That's what I'm assuming. Either way, if Sony is going to really make their Spider-Verse a thing, Morbius has to release Shang like 2018's Venom did. And yes, Venom is on my list. I know I'm jumping the gun, but Venom I thought was okay. I definitely loved more. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they do with Morbius. And yeah, so moving on, number 19 is none other than Candyman. That's the only time I'm going to say it, because say it 5 times, these lights will go out up in here, and I might not be able to ever do another episode of anything on screen again. Because, some people believe in Bloody Mary. With him, he used to freak me out. Still kind of does. But anyway, so the 1992 cult classic gets reimagined in this sequel. Now, artist Anthony McCoy, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, finds himself confronting the real horror laid out in that film, set out in a now gentrified Cabrini Green neighborhood of Chicago. Now, the film is directed by none other than Nia DaCosta and produced by Jordan Peele, who, did Get Out and Us. This film feels like it definitely fits in Peele's ever-growing horror wheelhouse, sending up society while allowing DaCosta to really get dirty in the horror genre. For those keeping score, McCoy was kidnapped in the original film and saved by Helen Lyle. Tony Todd, who played Candyman, is on board, as is Tiana Paris and Vanessa Williams, who is reprising her role as Anne Marie McCoy, Anthony's mother. What's great is that while we feel we know a good amount of this film, something tells us we barely scratched the surface on what this new take on Candyman will be so far. So I do find it interesting that Yahya Abdul-Mateen, his character, he looks more like Lamer. What was I going to say? Oh, so with I like the fact that they have Yahya's character basically playing the kid that Helen saved in the original film. So basically, this is a sequel to the original Candyman movie. And it'd be cool if they, does Tony Todd come back as Candyman? Does the kid slowly turn into Candyman over the years? I mean, we'll find out when this movie comes out, finally, and hopefully this year. So moving right along, one of the next films, number 8, coming in at number 18, that I'm really looking forward to is called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Seven Rings. Now, one of the more surprising entries into the MCU will be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, properly bringing the martial arts expert Shang-Chi to the MCU proper. The premise is faint. Now, basically what it's saying is that Shang-Chi gets drawn back into his past life by the Ten Rings organization, but that's Marvel. The Mandarin plays a part in this story. Please tell me that the Mandarin in here is not the Mandarin from Iron Man 3. I need a real Mandarin. I need the actual Mandarin to appear in here. Okay, this is driving me crazy. Not you guys, but this is messages constantly coming in, as not from the restream and not from you. It's a different messenger. So let me focus. Sorry. And then Awkwafina is also in this film, but the real question is how Shang-Chi will fit into a larger universe that Marvel is building. I am curious about this. It's going to be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, and it also stars Simu Liu, Tony Leung, and Awkwafina, as I stated before. So this I'm really excited about. I'm definitely excited about Shang-Chi, and the guy who's playing him definitely looks like a snack, by the way. But yes, I'm excited for this film and what I'm really hoping is that Shang-Chi does for the Asian community what Black Panther did for the Black community. Like, I really want this to be a big breakout film, because one of the things I've noticed about that I don't think theaters in Hollywood understands is that a lot of minority communities, they want to see themselves represented on the big screen. Hopefully down the road we can get a superhero lead, a trans superhero lead. Like, these are things that I'm really hoping that you can diversify and show different people who want the opportunity to be represented on the big screen, the small screen. The small screen is definitely giving people what they need in regards of representation. Like, you watch a lot of these superhero shows on streaming services and on television, and they're definitely giving us the different representations. I mean, look, we're about to get ourselves yet a Black lesbian superhero in the form of the reboot of Batwoman. So I'm definitely excited for this film, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that, yes, how this fits into phase 4 of the MCU. Okay, so moving right along, number 17 is Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, if you grew up in the 90s and loved Spider-Man comics, the anti-hero Venom was one of your absolute favorites, a superpowered being who had all of Spider-Man's powers, plus an all-black outfit and a mouthful of razor-sharp teeth. Venom was top tier. Now, coming 3 years after the critically panned blockbuster hit theaters, but it made a shit ton of money, and that's all they care about. Okay. Venom Let There Be Carnage picks up right where the first film left off. Eddie Brock / Venom having to butt heads with Cletus Cassidy, played by Woody Harrelson, a serial killer who also becomes the host of a violent alien symbiote. Yeah, not, as that scientist said, symbiote. She drove me nuts when she said that. She's like, I wanted to dive to the screen and strangle her. Well, the director, for not even correcting how you say symbiote. But anyway, yes, he becomes Carnage in the film. So we don't know much about the details. I need to see a trailer. Naomi Harris is going to be taking on the role of Carnage's love interest, which means that this film could definitely incorporate the Marvel Comics Maximum Carnage tale into its plot. So I'm hoping that this is what happens. And yeah, I'm excited. Like, the first film again was I wanted more. Didn't give me more. Oh, look, it's Nadine. But girl, you better tune into the other show later, because Lindsay's coming back for a new episode. Oh wait, let me focus, because I'm saying things in this video. I need to focus on what we're doing. Movies. Because we're live. Okay, so now number 16 is Ghostbusters Afterlife, which stars Finn Wolfhard and Paul Rudd. Now, Jason Reitman, son of acclaimed Ghostbusters director Ivan Reitman steps up for the latest installment of this blockbuster series, which is being called Ghostbusters Afterlife in true modern reboot fashion. It's set 30 years after the first film, where a family of Oklahoma discovers their intriguing connection to the original Ghostbusters squad. Speaking of that, OG crew of misfits, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver, and Annie Potts will all be reprising their roles in the original films, from the original film, joining Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, who y'all know was in Stephen King's It, he's from Stranger Things, McKenna Grace, Paul Rudd is in a film that could help reestablish his brand for the next generation of filmmakers. You know, growing up, I definitely was a huge Ghostbusters fan. Ghostbusters 2, not so much. I was a little disappointed. I was disappointed in the second Ghostbusters for like all those cameos. I think they had Bobby Brown in there, and then they had all these stupid cameos. And yeah, we got it. It was a bigger and badder film, but I really feel like I hope this film grounds it, the new one, and gives me what I need from the whole Ghostbusters franchise. So I'm really hoping that this movie is really good. And you know, Paul Rudd's another one who doesn't age. Okay, so now number 15 is none other than one movie that I'm definitely excited to see. B-Boy Blues. This movie, now, when I was a kid, I remember reading this book, and it was the first glimpse of me getting an idea of what it'd be like to be Black and gay in New York, being in a relationship with a guy who is also same-gender loving. Now, the film is being directed by none other than Jussie Smollett and stars Ledisi, Timothy Richardson, Thomas Mackie, Brandy Evans, Broderick Hunter, Lana B. Woodson, Michael Jackson Jr., Marquise Bilson, Jabari Red, Brian Lucas, Heather B., and Bryant Bailey. Now, the film follows a tumultuous relationship between Mitchell Crawford, a 27-year-old journalist, and Raheem Rivers, a 21-year-old bicycle messenger and B-boy, which, for those of you who don't know what a B-boy is, it's basically a banshee boy. It's what some people call a guy who dresses like he's from the hood. He's very thuggish, but on the inside, he likes penis and ass. So, just tell you what a banshee boy is, for those who didn't know. So, they met at a gay bar in Greenwich Village in the summer of 1993, and the B-boy hangs out on street corners, cool and menacing. Raheem is the third B-boy in Mitchell's life, but underneath the former tough exterior, Raheem is smart and talented and a loving parent to his 5-year-old son, but Raheem has a violent streak. B-Boy Blues spawned a series that has sold millions worldwide and remains a staple within the Black LGBTQ plus same-gender loving community. Based on the 1994 best-selling novel with James R. Hardy, this will mark Jussie Smollett's directorial debut. So this film I'm definitely looking forward to. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding Jussie Smollett with the accusations with the Chicago police, but honey, the way these police been acting, what he did is tame compared to the other shit y'all saying, so I don't care. I feel like right now, him being on camera is not going to work because nobody's going to want to mess with him, but being behind the scenes and being creative, you get away with a lot more that way than having to be on camera and having to deal with people and their stupid comments. So this is definitely an independent flick that I'm definitely looking forward to. And we need more, as I was saying before, about Asian representation in superhero films. We need more representation of people of color in the LGBTQ community being seen in any format. And I hear it's going to be on Amazon, I believe. Amazon Prime is going to be showing that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, my 14th pick is Uncharted, which stars Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, and Antonio Banderas. Now, Ruben Fleischer is bringing the world of video games to the big screen with his movie. The film is an adaptation of the video games of the same name. The film stars Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, along with a stellar supporting cast that includes Antonio Banderas, Sophia Ali, and Tati Gabrielle. Now, the fourth game, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, will inspire the movie. Holland will play Nate Drake, the young fortune hunter who claims to be the descendant of a famed English explorer, Sir Francis Drake. Wahlberg will play Victor Sully Sullivan, a fellow fortune hunter who is Nate's mentor and father figure. The TED actor was in talks to star as Nathan Drake when the project was in development in 2010, and director David O. Russell was linked to the film. Well, it's supposed to come out in July, but we'll see. And I see why they decided to go with Tom Holland. Tom Holland definitely looks good at his age. Like, he's put on the muscle. He wants people to take him seriously as a fortune hunter. He's trying to disassociate himself, not in a bad way, but he wants to show that I can play other things besides Spider-Man, which, we have a third one also coming out. He's got like 4 movies coming out this year alone. So there's going to be a lot of Tom Holland we're going to be seeing. Yeah, I have to say he looks really good here in that photo. Definitely, I see why they wanted to start it off young. I know a lot of people have said, "Oh no, that's not Nathan Drake. He's supposed to look like this." But Hollywood is thinking long term, meaning they want to be able to have Tom Holland play this character for at least a good 6, 7 movies. You know how Hollywood is; they love stretching a goddamn franchise. So they probably want him to at least, because he's like, what, 23, 24? They want him at least playing this character for, who knows, as long as the films are, if they're good, maybe the next 20 years they want him playing this character. And to be honest, we know video game adaptations don't have the best reputation, because like I said, Resident Evil, that franchise, a lot of people like the first one, but then after that they get a little stupid and ridiculous, and they make no sense. And there's no follow with the plot. Like, it just, Paul W.S. Anderson clearly forgot all the shit he's written numerous times for every goddamn movie when he keeps making these sequels. So we've come close to getting a good video game. Like, okay, I like the what was it? Lara Croft Tomb Raider. I like the first one with Angelina Jolie. Second one was ridiculous. And then I actually like the new one with Alicia Vikander. I didn't think it was that bad. I expected a little more, but I wanted a little more, but it wasn't the greatest movie. So I'm hoping it gets better as we go down the road. But yeah, so I got my fingers crossed on Uncharted. I really hope this movie doesn't suck. Now, my number 12 pick is none other than Spiral, starring Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson, and Marisol Nichols. Now, fans of Chris Rock and the Saw franchise should be a little hyped for Spiral. I'm definitely looking forward to this movie because I feel like it's a different concept. Hopefully it plays within the universe, or there's some sort of connection with oh yeah, don't even remind me about Mortal Kombat 2, Super Mario Brothers, and the recent piece of shit, Monster Hunter. What the hell was that? I really feel like Paul W.S. Anderson needs to get his head out of Mila Jovovich's vagina for 2 seconds and figure out how to write a goddamn script, because that movie was terrible. But anyway, this is Chris Rock in the new film. And he's basically playing Ezekiel Zeke Banks, who is a detective tasked with investigating gruesome murders that feel old familiar to what we've seen in the franchise's past. He's also living in the shadow of veteran Marcus Banks, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who is basically playing his father in the film. But right now, we don't know how much of any of this is connected. Now, if you're skeptical, what I should point out is that Rock, fun fact, Chris Rock worked on this script. He actually came up with the treatment and sent it in, and the execs liked it and was like, well, yeah, let's make this movie. Oh my God, my freaking allergies is kicking my behind right now. I know, I'm just like rubbing my nose. People gonna be thinking, oh, he up in here snorting coke. No. Freaking allergies is killing me. But anyway, I'm definitely excited for this movie. I do like the Saw movies have kind of been a miss. Not necessarily a hit in a lot of ways. Like, they've been, like I stated before, great concepts. I like some of the setups with the puzzles and like trapping people. I want to play a game. Like, I like all of that. But then for the most part, a lot of that, they always try to go for the stupid M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. Shut up. Cocaine's one hell of a drug. But it's like, it's kind of been a little miss in regards to, like, they always try to do the stupid plot twist at the end, like this is a goddamn M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I'm like, okay, really? So I think they focus too much on the contraptions and not enough on the plot and the story. So hopefully this film will revitalize that in some sort of way. Okay, so my next choice, number 11, is Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds, Taika Waititi, and Little Rel. So now Ryan Reynolds is bringing his, pretty much what he always does, his sarcastic wit and boyishly good-looking everyman charm to this self-referential, special effects-driven comedy. He stars as Guy, a nondescript bank teller, non-player character in a violent open world video game who suddenly becomes self-aware and decides to take his destiny into his own hands. So expect a lot of ironic, self-referential humor and over-the-top action shenanigans, which, when Reynolds is involved, is essentially its own genre these days. So yeah, Free Guy, definitely when I started hearing stuff about this, I thought it looked pretty cool with the picture and some of the stuff that I've seen in regards to this movie. It's an original concept. It's something different that we haven't seen. And everybody's always complaining about, oh, so many sequels, so many reboots, so many remakes. Why don't they come up with something original? It's an original concept. So support it if it's good. Like, I'm not saying support something because of the original concept, because a lot of original concepts can suck. But this one seems like a pretty interesting concept, and I'm definitely going to check it out. And I'm definitely a Taika Waititi fan. Like, anything Taika winds up in, he just cracks me up, and I find it funny. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking this movie out. Now, coming in at number 10 is A Quiet Place Part 2, which stars Emily Blunt, Cillian Murphy, and Djimon Hounsou. So now, after the box office success of 2018's A Quiet Place, it wasn't long before Paramount announced that a sequel was coming. John Krasinski, who starred in the original and is married to Emily Blunt, is directing this time around, and he wrote the full screenplay. Since the film screenwriters Scott Beck and Brian Woods did not sign on for Part 2. So the actors Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmons, and Noah Jupe, I think that's how you say his last name, will reprise their roles. The Office alum will return as Lee Abbott and will appear in flashback sequences. Cillian Murphy and Djimon Hounsou have also joined the cast, and the storyline follows the Abbott family, excuse me, as they adjust to their new life after their significant loss in the first film. We're not going to say who, if you haven't seen it, but that first film was crazy, and it freaked me out. Literally, when I saw this in the theater, it's definitely something that people should check. If you have not seen the first A Quiet Place, great concept, cool, intense action sequences. It's definitely a movie that you should check out if you're a horror fan. Now, the mom and her 3 kids will venture out of their home searching for people who will help them survive the monsters they fought in the first installment, but will face new dangerous threats. The movie studio initially planned to release a sequel in March of last year, but of course postponed it twice due to Corona. If all goes well, fans will be able to catch it in theaters in April of this year, but I'm not holding my breath on that because, 2020 has been a little crazy, and we're still waiting for theaters to open, and there's still an uncertainty. Like, I just heard they moved Morbius, as I was talking about earlier. Morbius, I think, is coming out in October now. And yeah, so they've been moving a lot of movies around. And then I heard they moved No Time to Die. I'm like, I will probably die before this fucking movie comes out. So No Time to Die. Oh, wait, I should have probably said that. That's a little premature. I'm trying to live till I'm, old and decrepit. But yeah, I feel like it's gonna take forever for this damn movie to come out. The way they've been moving No Time to Die had been moved around 8 times already. But anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing A Quiet Place too. I love the original film. Hopefully the sequel, we don't get sequelitis. I hope it doesn't suck. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this film, as I stated. So coming in at number 9 is none other than Mortal Kombat. The iconic Mortal Kombat game franchise has, spawned a bevy of fighting games, comic books, and more, as well as 2 feature-length films. Loved the original film, hated, and I mean hated, the sequel. I remember when I saw the original film, I was so impressed with it, and yeah, it was like a lot of people there were a lot of critics who kind of called it corny, it was stupid, and this, that, and the third. But I thought it was pretty good. I actually liked the film. The first one. I even like the fact that they had animatronics and stuff in there. So, and today we actually got a full plot synopsis of Mortal Kombat that I was excited about. I'm like, yes, finally. Oh, and there's also a couple of pictures that I have posted on Tribe. I'm gonna show y'all a couple, and you can get the rest over at tribe.com. But yeah, I did a full expose on the Mortal Kombat films and the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie and what it's about. So This is supposed to be a reboot, and what they're basically saying that the plot synopsis is the following. So, MMA fighter Cole Young, who was played by Louis Tan. Now, everybody was saying that Louis Tan was in an unnamed role, so this is basically what we're finding out who he's playing. Now, if you don't know who Louis Tan is, well, honey, I already told y'all I have the biggest crush on Louis Tan. I love me some Louis Tan. I just like him in the movies. I like because he's a good looking man. Well, we're not just going to get up in that, but nevertheless, I am a Louis Tan fan. Not just because of the fineness of him, but of course because he's a good action movie actor. And he started Into the Badlands. He's also on that show Wu Assassins with Iko Uwais. But so basically, he's playing MMA fighter Cole Young, who is accustomed to taking a beating for money, is unaware of his heritage, or why Outworld's emperor Shang has sent his best warrior, Sub-Zero, an otherworldly cryomancer, to hunt Cole down. Fearing for his family's safety, Cole goes. Wait, hold on. It said that Cole goes in search of Sonya Blade at the direction of Jax, a special forces major who bears the same strange dragon marking Cole was born with. Soon he finds himself at the temple of Lord Raiden, an elder god and protector of the Earth realm, who grants sanctuary to those who bear the mark. Here Cole trains with experienced warriors Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and rogue mercenary Kano as he prepares to stand with Earth's greatest champions against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. But will Cole be pushed hard enough to unlock his arcana, the immersed power from within his soul, in time to save not only his family, but to stop Outworld once and for all? Now, I actually think this is a pretty cool concept. Like, hearing about it, I know some people, I was reading in the comments, oh, y'all basically picking a new person and putting him in there, and where's Johnny Cage? And it's like, can y'all shut the fuck up and just think like, okay, finally we got a plot. We got a story. I like the idea of them kind of going, yep, there's Louis Tan. I was like, I actually like the idea of creating an entirely new character and creating a whole story, but incorporating Kano and Kung Lao and Sonya Blade and all these different people in it, so that way you can tell an entirely different story and it's not based off anything in the game. So it just makes it really cool that we're creating a whole new character, someone who actually knows how to fight, and putting him in there. We're going to get the fatalities. It's going to be R-rated. It's going to be awesome. I'm not expecting this to be Shakespeare that I'm watching, but I am expecting that it's going to be a really good hand-to-hand, a lot of blood, a lot of fighting, a lot of cool action sequences. And that's what I'm looking for. And yeah, the costumes look a little cheesy, but I feel like it's not even about that. Like, I think people get too literal with these movies. They expect like everything to look like too much like the video game. And then you neglect story, you neglect plot. And quite as it's kept, the other Mortal Kombat movies, they had no plot. And they had to add more action to it. But we love it because the original film was such a guilty pleasure. So Brandon is saying the most recent animated Mortal Kombat movie is really good as well. Is that the one about Scorpion? I actually have that movie, but I never got around to watching it. I definitely need to check that movie out. Like there is an animated Mortal Kombat movie, but I think it's. I'm wondering if the one you're referring to is the one about Scorpion. I definitely want to check that out. I'm definitely looking forward to this movie. I really hope it's cool. Within the next couple of weeks, I'm sure we'll be getting a trailer because it is coming out in April in the theater and on HBO Max. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this movie. Now, who's starring in it? We got Louis Tan, as I said, as Cole Young, Jessica McNamee from The Meg as Sonya Blade, Josh Lawson from Bombshell as Kano, Tadanobu Asano from Midway as Lord Raiden, Makad Brooks, who y'all know from Supergirl, is playing Jax. Ludi Lin, who's from Aquaman, is playing Liu Kang. Chin Han, who's from Skyscraper, is playing Shang Tsung. Now, Joe Taslim, who they're saying is from Star Trek Beyond, but he was in movies like The Raid, and there was another movie that I cannot remember that he was in. They played on Netflix all the time, where he played like an assassin who was hired to kill this little girl. He couldn't do it, so then he was left for dead, and he wound up hiding her and this and the other, and then he gets revenge. It's a crazy, brutal, bloody action movie. Can I remember the name of it? But I remember seeing it a couple of times, and I actually loved it. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Mortal Kombat. This looks like it's going to be a kick-ass movie. I'm really hoping that it's good. And I'm looking for a really good action guilty pleasure, something that I'll literally live for. Now, speaking of action and guilty pleasures and things that have changed the action genre, My number 8 choice is none other than The Matrix 4. So this film stars Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Jada Pinkett Smith, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. This is the second movie that he's going to be in this year. Neil Patrick Harris, Jonathan Groff, Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Now, I don't know how they're going to explain how in the hell Neo and Trinity are around for this 4th installment when they both, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this damn movie, the movie is 20 years old. So if you haven't seen it, I don't know where the fuck y'all been. But Neo and Trinity died in the 3rd film. So, Lana Wachowski is set to bring back, because remember, it was Lana and Lily who directed, well, before they were Andy and they were the other Wachowski. They were the Wachowski brothers. Now they're the Wachowski sisters because they transitioned. But Lana Wachowski is coming at it alone and is set to bring us another sci-fi action adventure set in the world of digital world, as she helped create way back in '99. Agent Smith and Morpheus will not be in this film, but Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is rumored to be playing a young Morpheus. And then there's something I heard, something or another about time travel. So I don't know what the whole story is going to be about, but I'm definitely intrigued. I'm really hoping that it's good. One of the things I did hear is that with the Matrix 4, because they shot it in Germany, and I heard they had like a big party afterwards. The one thing I am kind of curious about is this film going to be more groundbreaking in regards of the action and like trying to take it to the next level where, you know, where they had bullet time and freeing your mind and like really some of that cool stuff. So I'm really hoping if there's going to be any revolutionary stunt work and special effects and that sort of thing in there. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I did hear that it was supposed to come out on HBO Max and in theaters in May, but then I recently heard they moved it to December of this year. So if y'all move The Matrix 4 to December, I'm gonna be upset. Because now y'all making me, first, I gotta wait for The Mandalorian to come out in December. Now I gotta wait a whole damn year for The Matrix. Like, really? Y'all killing me. But hopefully with all these movies that's coming out, they'll be able to quench my thirst, and before you know it, it'll be December. So now my number 7 pick is none other than Spider-Man 3, starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jamie Foxx, and Alfred Molina. Now, Sony's Spider-Verse is officially linked back up with Marvel Studios' MCU, but is currently untitled. Spider-Man flick has a lot of talk surrounding it, primarily with implications of some live-action multiverse shenanigans. Now, there's rumors that are swirling that 2 previous Spider-Men, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, will be making an appearance in the new Spider-Man movie. There's also word that we heard that Jamie Foxx is coming back, reprising his role from one of the other Spider-Mans. Well, I think it was I'm trying to remember which Spider-Man was it. I think it was the one with Andrew Garfield where he played what was it, Electro? God, that character was terrible. But I'm really hoping that they I hope they really make him interesting in this film though. I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I've always stated that, in my opinion, you know, Tobey Maguire did what he did. I thought he was good in the films he did. I did not like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man at all, but I feel like Tom Holland is Amazing Spider-Man 2. Thank you. One of the things I did not like was, I didn't like him as Spider-Man. In my opinion, I feel that the best Spider-Man and Peter Parker is none other than Tom Holland. I feel like he embodies both. So I'm really excited to see this film. Honestly, I hated the Spider-Man titles, the Far From Home and the Homecoming. I'm like, really? This is what this is the titles y'all are coming up with? Like, it really feels like one of those Hallmark movie titles. That's the only thing I hated. But other than that, to me, Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. And to me, he's like the right age in playing Spider-Man. Because I've always felt like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were a little too old to be playing that character. Yeah, the titles, I hate the titles, but the movies, I definitely loved. But hopefully, what y'all gonna call it? Spider-Man 3 Home Again? Like, no more Home Shopping Network titles for this damn franchise, please and thank you. Okay, so and Alfred Molina is supposed to be in here. So is he playing Doc Ock? So I'm wondering, like, because if you remember in the end of the Spider-Man movie, we saw the original J. Jonah Jameson, say that 10 times fast, from Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was at the end of the Tom Holland Spider-Man. I know it's a lot to kind of keep track of. So I'm wondering if there's any multiverses exist. Like, did we do Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? We saw different iterations of Spider-Man. So if they could work that into this live action cinematic film, I'm here for it. And I'm definitely hoping that we can see these cameras. I just hate the fact that if these spoilers are true, that they're out there. That's the only thing that's upsetting to me. But nevertheless, what are you going to do? So now my number 6 choice is none other than Mission Impossible 7, which stars Tom Cruise. Who else? Haley Atwell, who he's rumored to be dating. Girl, run. Because this one, because word on the street is, I talked about it on my podcast, that he purchased 2 Terminator-esque robots to check for any kind of coronavirus type stuff, while he's shooting this movie, because they're supposed to resume shooting Mission Impossible 7 in the UK in a matter of days, and then they're going to be heading over to Dubai. And I'm like, if you purchase some Terminator type robots, first of all, how's robots going to detect if you get the coronavirus? That makes no sense. I said, this is some old twisted, psychotic Scientology shit. But what do you expect from Tom Cruise? Now, say what you want about the man and his personal life, and I have, but you can't deny these Mission Impossible movies get better with every sequel. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what amazing stunt he's going to pull that's going to pull us in, because he always does like some big stunt in these movies. And I'm definitely excited to see this. So we don't know what this plot is going to be about. It's probably going to be, IMF is out in the cold and I got to fight my way back into the government. It's the same goddamn plot with every movie, but they're just cool to watch. And Christopher McQuarrie is coming back as writer and director. I think this will be his 4th time returning to this franchise. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Mission Impossible. I love the Mission Impossible movies when they come out. That seems to be the only movie that this man can do that brings him some kind of box office revenue. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see Mission Impossible when it comes out. Hopefully it will be coming out, but let's not hold our breath. It's wishful thinking. So now my number 5 choice is none other than Dune. Now, the visionary and one of my favorite directors at the moment, Denis Villeneuve's next project is the first of a planned 2-part film adaptation of the 1965 novel starring current IT actor Timothée Chalamet alongside Euphoria's own Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, Jason Momoa, and plenty others. The plot is hard to break down, but and believe me, it is. But it involves the spice, which is a substance that will grant humans longer lives, as well as higher intelligence and more. The search for the spice involves traveling to Dune, but also features deeper plots and problems from Chalamet's Paul to encounter and deal with. Some might call it hyper nerd shit, but if handled correctly by Villeneuve, this will be the beginning of a truly insane ride. Now, I will say this. I watched the original Dune. That Top Gun, but to me, the thing with Top Gun Maverick should have been released 10 years ago. I feel like this is 10 years too late, and I don't even know if people are actually excited for a Top Gun sequel. It should have came out a while back, but we'll see if people are receptive to it when it comes out. And that's another one that's supposed to be coming out this year. Unfortunately, it's not one of my picks on the list, but glad you brought it up. I'm definitely excited for Dune. I actually didn't mind. I mean, the original Dune that came out with Kyle MacLachlan and Sting and a bunch of other people, I actually liked it. I didn't think it was weird. It was just a bizarre film. Their eyes turned blue, and it's just like this weird warped film, and it was just all over the place. But for some reason, that's not the picture. That's oh my god, what's his name? The vampire one that we were just talking about. That's oh my god, why am I drawing a brain fart? That is Morbius. Yeah, that's not Dune. But yes, I'm excited for Dune. To me, anything that Denis Villeneuve has touched so far, I actually like. I loved Arrival. I love Blade Runner 2049. I know a lot of people didn't really particularly care for Blade Runner 2049. I was like, it's a really cool love letter to check this film out. And I remember hearing that this was supposed to be a film that was supposed to be going directly to HBO Max, but of course now I'm hearing that it's going straight to the theaters because they want to make this money. And there was a whole, I'm sure y'all can look up the drama between them and when the HBO Max plan and them putting movies out simultaneously in theaters, even though theaters aren't open. I'm not going to sit and break that shit down because it's going to be a lot, and that's not what this story is about. But I'm hearing it's going into a theater, and to me, Dune is definitely something I want to see in a theater. I'm really hoping it makes its money because, yeah, they're trying to take the It Chapter 1 and 2 approach, but they want to split it into 2 parts and do the movie that way. I'm hoping that even if the movie doesn't break the box office records, because it is, as they would call it, nerd shit, if this nerd shit type film cannot make the Fast and Furious type of money, like $1 billion at the box office, or the MCU type of money. If it can't make that money, I still hope that they will be able to make the sequel. Prisoners was another amazing movie. I know he's done a lot of films, like everything that I just feel like he's really good with social commentary and then adding some really cool stuff into it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I know it's going to be a lot of nerd crap in there, but he's going to incorporate like a lot of really cool action sequences. Denis is also really good on practical effects and practical sets, and he's a visionary. So how I love and I'm obsessed with Denis Villeneuve, Esteban is obsessed with Christopher Nolan. It's our little inside joke. So now, my next choice, number 4, coming in at number 4, is none other than The Suicide Squad. So this film is going to be directed by none other than James Gunn. So now the sequel to the 2016 critically panned, wasn't just critically panned, it was fan panned too. A lot of us hated that fucking movie, including myself. Now, the critically panned Suicide Squad is a low-key reboot standalone movie with Viola Davis returning as Amanda Waller, setting up another band of misfits to take on a gig no one else could handle. Now, Margot Robbie is coming back as Harley Quinn. Hopefully, they will rejuvenate her character because Birds of Prey was trash. That movie was all over the fucking place. I get the intent and some of the action sequences were cool, but overall, that movie was a fucked up mess. Reboot that one. So yeah, Margot Robbie is back as Harley, because to me, her Harley Quinn was completely different from the original Suicide Squad to, the Birds of Prey film. And Joel Kinnaman's coming back as Rick Flag, but they are joined by a wild assortment of scoundrels played by everyone from John Cena and Idris Elba to Pete Davidson, Sylvester Stallone, Storm Reed, Michael Rooker, and many more. James Gunn wrote and directed this film, so I am a fan of James Gunn. I love what he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. I love what he did with, oh my God, why do I feel like I'm missing something? I think I am missing something. There was a movie that I wanted to put up in here, and I just realized it's not on my list, or did I skip it? One of the choices that I had picked was the Fast and the Furious franchise. I am looking forward to Fast 9. I don't know why that's not in here. I don't know what happened, but off the dome, I'm going to talk about it. I agree with that. Like, some people did not fit the character. I did love, oh my God, what's his name? The one that played like the Mexican that's he's the one that catches on fire, and I guess they killed him off, but he's on Magnum PI. I definitely liked him. I liked him. I like him as an actor. But they wasted him up in that. They wasted a lot of people in that film. That movie was all over the goddamn place. And I'm kind of glad they got rid of Will Smith, and now they brought in Idris Elba. Idris Elba seems like much more of a better fit and believable. But Fast 9, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that movie. Jay Hernandez, thank you. I was like, thank you. Y'all are my right side of my brain tonight, because I just be forgetting stuff. That's why I love the interaction with everybody, because y'all can help me out with when I'm doing the lives. That's why I always say I love doing interactive talk shows. Anyway, so yeah, I love Jay Hernandez. But and I'm really hoping this movie is good. But you know what? Because he has a twisted. Oh, thank you, Jesus. We got the picture. So I'm looking forward to this movie. I have no idea what it's about, but I know Charlize Theron is in it. We saw a lot of fighting going on. Like all of a sudden, Mia's coming back. So I don't know. Maybe they'll explain what happened to Paul Walker's character. Mia's beating up people. Of course, Michelle Rodriguez. We love watching her kick ass and take names. That's about if I was in the vagina, that'd be the woman I'd be into. I love me some Michelle Rodriguez. My father calls her the chick from Aliens. Oh my god, I totally forgot. I just spazzed, drew a blank on her name. You know, the big butch chick from Aliens. He calls her. I found that funny. I'm like, but I'm like, whatever. But yeah, I love Michelle Rodriguez. I don't know if y'all didn't see her. If y'all saw the Facebook video where she's trying to teach Cardi B how to drive, that shit is funny. Y'all should definitely check that out. But yes, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. They're apparently playing brothers. So there's a whole sibling rivalry going on. I did hear that they were talking about something of them going in space. I don't know how they're going to figure out driving cars into space, but okay. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I don't know what happened. So apparently, I guess I did not add it to my list. Oh wait, I did add it to my list. I just completely skipped over it. So Fast 9 was my number 13 choice. I guess I just completely overlooked it. I was like, wait a minute, I could have sworn I put Fast 9 in. But yeah. So John Cena is playing Dominic Toretto's brother, Jacob. Now, Dom and his crew will face off with his little brother, who teams up with their nemesis, Cypher, played by Charlize Theron, to bring them down. Judging by the dynamic trailer, fans are in for quite a ride. Universal announced in October of last year that the franchise that started in 2001 will finally reach its finish line after the 11th movie. So after Fast 9, we got 2 more movies to look forward to. So I'm sure by like 2025, this franchise will be coming to an end. So now that I actually went back and just messed up my whole list because I'm a mess, let's get back to the actual, titles. Whatever. So my number 3 choice is none other than No Time to Die. So No Time to Die, like I said, I'll probably be dead by the time this goddamn movie comes out. It is the 25th installment of the historic James Bond theatrical series, and is also confirmed to be Daniel Craig's final time portraying the suave MI6 agent. Now, directed by Kari Joji Fukunaga, who directed the True Detective first season. Word is that we'll be getting a new agent, 007, Nomi, played by Lashana Lynch, and a new villain, whose name is Safin, played by Mr. Robot's Rami Malek. Along with the riders Jeffrey Wright and Ana de Armas, who I heard is now dating Ben Affleck. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so now it's supposed to come out in April, but I think I told you guys earlier that they pushed it again because there's no word on if movie theaters are going to be open. So, well, you know what? Don't look, Brandon. Don't give Fast and the Furious people no damn ideas with these car chases and stuff. We're supposed to suspend disbelief, but I guess that's why we watch it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I know a lot of people are upset that, oh, you can't make James Bond a woman. You can't make her black. But she's not playing James Bond. She's playing 007. 007 is the code name that all those people play. She's not playing James Bond. James Bond is James Bond. She's a 007. If one leaves, a 007 comes in and takes over the number. So that's just how it is. And if people can't get that, then don't watch the movie. I'm actually looking forward to it. The trailer looked pretty good. The movie looks pretty good. And as I stated before, I'm excited for this. So now my number 2 choice, because we're getting down to the wire now, is a franchise that I have been a fan of since forever. And I'm really excited about it. And my number 2 choice is none other than Halloween Kills. So now, if you've been paying attention and you saw Halloween 2018 and you watched like the little clips they put on social media here and there, like remember the first teaser that we got? Yeah, he looks pretty menacing here. I'm thinking from when I described this shot before, he is actually, I believe this is in the 3rd act. What I believe is this is taking place in the Myers house. It has been remodeled. There's some similarities to the original Halloween film from 78, where this definitely looks like the Myers house. And I believe from this shot, he's looking down at Andy Matichak's character. That's the girl that played I was gonna say Jamie Lee Curtis, but Laurie Strode's granddaughter. Remember, there's a shot in the new trailer they posted where she's looking up the top of the stairs and she's screaming. So I think this is basically his POV shot where he's going to be chasing her. And from what I hear with this film, where 2018's Halloween focused on Laurie Strode's trauma, the sequel will basically focus on Haddonfield's trauma and the aftermath of Michael Myers and the havoc he wreaked in the original film. So people in the town, they decide, oh, we're going to take Michael Myers on. It's that mob mentality. We're going to go kill him. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And if you know Michael Myers, or his let me just say the whole government name, Michael Audrey Myers, because that was the name on the file in Halloween 2. I told you I'm a big fan of the Halloween franchise. You're not going to take this man down easily. And so I know people are like, how do you get out? How do you escape? You saw like there was a clip that they posted online of Laurie and them. Remember when in the end of the 2018 film, they were in the back of the truck and they were driving off, and it was like, oh yeah, it's over, and I can breathe, and I'm bleeding out, and get me to the hospital. But there's a shot of the fire department, the ambulance heading to the house, this house here, that was a trap for Michael that they were burning up, and he basically. I believe they're going to probably incorporate scenes from Halloween 4. They're going to put the fire out. They're going to rescue him. They're going to bandage him up. They're going to bandage up that hand because, she took the shotgun and blew off a couple of his fingers. I think that's what's going to happen. And the minute they bandage him up and adhere to his wounds, I think he's basically going to take out the people in the ambulance. He's going to kill him. He's going to escape, and he's going to go on his spree trying to track down Laurie and the family, all the while fighting people in the neighborhood who were trying to take him down because of what happened, and then everybody, with this mob mentality. So what I'm hearing is this is basically going to be the Empire Strikes Back of the Halloween franchise. It's going to be a lot of violence, a lot of killing. It's going to be gory. It's going to be gruesome, and I'm here for it. So yes, I'm excited for this movie. It's supposed to be coming out sometime in October. David Gordon Green, who directed and wrote the other film and this film, basically said that by hook or by crook, this film is coming out this year. So even if there is no theaters open, we're getting Halloween Kills, and I'm excited for that. So as you can tell, I am excited for this movie. And yeah, that's all I got to say on that. Otherwise, I could just do a whole synopsis and breakdown. So now my number one choice, if you haven't figured it out yet, I haven't mentioned it, but it's supposed to be coming out in May of this year. It's another MCU movie, and it's none other than Black Widow. So now this film stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, and David Harbour, and Rachel Weisz, wife of Daniel Craig, because, we brought him in before. So even though fans of Marvel's Cinematic Universe will have a few Disney Plus shows breathing life back into the franchise, and I have not seen WandaVision yet. I know a lot of people have been, well, John Wick comes out in 2021. Wait, this is 2021. What am I talking about? 2022. I think they're supposed to start filming that this year. So we're not getting John Wick this year. It's supposed to come out next year. They haven't even started shooting yet. They're supposed to shoot 4 and 5, I believe, back to back. But anyway, so I haven't seen WandaVision yet, so I don't know how that is, but I've been reading the mixed reviews. A lot of people aren't that receptive of it. Some people are. So now what they're saying is that similar to Captain Marvel, Black Widow is a story from the past about Black Widow, who is having to confront a past she thought she left behind. Now, rising stars like Florence Pugh, who, by the way, there's rumors that she's in talks to play Madonna in the Madonna biopic, by the way, as well as the always capable Rachel Weisz. But one of the most intriguing additions to this story is Taskmaster, a mysterious character from the Marvel Comics world with the ability to mimic his opponent's moves, making him a huge threat to Black Widow and her crew. We don't know who's playing Taskmaster. I'm excited for this movie. Based off the shots and the trailer and all that stuff, this does look like a really cool, grounded action film. And I know there's been some critics out there who are saying, oh, I don't know if I want it. I can never see a Black Widow movie. I don't know why we're getting a Black Widow movie, or I can't see Hawkeye by himself. And it's like, if someone is capable of writing a character and making them interesting and putting some really cool action stuff in it, I don't see why. And then look, Heidi Moneymaker is going to be doing most of Scarlett's stunts anyway, like a lot of the action stuff. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I love watching women kick ass on the screen. So any form of, we could see women doing like some really cool fights and all this other stuff, I definitely want to see that. And I do Oh, so there's, according to Brandon, so there are confirmed two mid-credit scenes. Well, that goes without saying with an MCU movie. There's always some type of mid-credit scene or something thrown in. And I do agree with you where I feel like they should have released Black Widow on Disney Plus. I feel like that would have really brought people into wanting to see this film rather than what they have so far. Because I will say this, I have been riding on this whole Disney Plus thing since the beginning. You know, I've watched The Mandalorian's first two seasons. That's why I stuck with it. They really didn't have much options on there. Like, okay, I watched Home Alone a couple of weeks ago. I watched all of The Mandalorian. I watched, Tron. I love that franchise. But other than that, I'm just like paying $6.99 a month for content that I'm not really paying it like really into. It's not like I'm watching it like I watch Netflix or Hulu or Shudder or a lot of these other streaming services. So I really feel like Disney needs to figure out what they're going to do to get people. I mean, I heard that they're already pulling in a lot of subscribers, and then of course, Mandalorian was the most pirated TV series I've heard. But yeah, I really wish they would have released this, but I guess people are feeling like, well, you know what? We put so much money into this film, we don't want to just throw it on Disney Plus because then they feel like, oh, we won't make back the amount of money that we want to do. So, I did hear something about that. They're going to merge Hulu with Disney Plus. Well, if they do that, then they need to let me know so I can figure out how to merge all my stuff because I'm paying for Disney Plus separate. And I got my little thing over there. Then I'm paying a lot of money for Hulu because I have my HBO Max and all that stuff attached to Hulu. So I need to know. I need to have a whole bundle. They need to figure out something with the whole bundle thing and give me a reasonable price because I'm paying a lot of money for Hulu. I know some people are like, oh, but it's like $7. Not for me because I have HBO Max attached with that. I got my Showtime. I got all that other stuff. So it's a lot of money. And these streaming services, y'all are getting out of control with all these different streaming services as of late. So yeah. So with that being said, that is my full 21 most anticipated movies of 2021. That is my full list. For now, I just want to say thank you all for watching. If you have a list that you want to let me know and contribute, you could definitely leave it in the comments. This is going to be uploaded directly to my YouTube channel because this is streaming live on YouTube as well as all my other live streaming services. Like it's on Facebook Live, I'm on Twitter, I'm on so many different things I can't even remember. That's the great thing about Restream. Like you can stream everything. You can do 30 plus. So yeah, leave a comment, click like, subscribe. Let me know what movies you guys are looking forward to, and I will definitely respond, leave comments, and like, and all that other good stuff. And here's to a much better 2021 because 2020 was shit. So I'm really hoping that we can get movie theaters open up again. I miss going to a theater. I miss seeing movies on a big screen. I miss that surround sound, and I miss IMAX and Dolby. I miss that theater too because the vibrating seats, I love it. But anyway, once again, thank you all for watching. I'm Kris Avalon. Until next time, ciao, darling. As I swig my water.